Any other questions, please?
Mother, can I ask you about, you suggested that we have a day without food and a night without sleep.
Come here, I can't hear you. Today the vibrations are just blowing in my ears. Come here. What did you say, Rita?
Said that you suggested to us that we had a day without food and a night without sleep.
One night.
Each week, yes.
Good idea.
Yes.
Better try.
So we've been doing it for 4 weeks.
It helped you?
Yes, I don't mind the days without food, but when I have the days without sleep, I find that really like now I can hardly keep awake in the evening. I don't know if it's really very good to continue it every week.
I think evening you must sleep early. It's a good idea. It's not nice to keep awake in the night. Night time is not good. And why I said to keep awake in the night was that because what I find that Sahajogis have more problem of the left side. For the left side people, it is important that they should keep awake in the night. And lots of things work out. Because you are alert. In the night only these attacks come. Left-sided people get all their attacks in the night and right-sided people get all their attacks in the daytime. So for the people who are left-sided, in your case especially, you are left-sided. Alright? So what you have to do, no? Alright. So what you have to do is to sleep less in the night. You can sleep in the daytime. I don't know.
Because I'm teaching.
Sometimes you can do it on a Saturday or a Sunday. Otherwise, this left side won't work. Because we have to try and experiment.
Would you say something about the timing? Because, I mean, for example, to keep awake from 12 o'clock to 4 is very easy for me. I never mind. I stayed awake from 12 to 6:30.
The other way round, I would say.
What do you say?
You get up at 12 o'clock.
Yes.
That's better.
Yes, I did that.
Yes.
I
That's all right. That's all right.
And if you're awake from 12 to 6, and then can you rest for an hour before you go to work?
No, it's all your lookout. There's no compulsion in Sahaja Yoga. You experiment with it. See whatever suits you.
Yes.
And you will be able to see yourself. You have to experiment. You see, every individual has their individual problems. And this is one of them. One has to see that if you are a left-sided person, is to keep awake before 12 o'clock is better. Afterwards, gradually if you sleep, you see all these left-sided problems will disappear. But the right-sided problems start in the morning. You see, I have to go, I have to catch the bus, I have to take this, plan it. So that time, if you at least don't eat, you get more time. You get more time, and apart from that, your stomach, which is active less, is better off.
I also don't mind about the food at all. I don't mind about not eating. If you want us to do it every week then, one night?
No, you have to experiment. There's nothing like that in Sahaja Yoga, as you know, it's not compulsory.
Yes, that's what
But if it helps you, the way it helps you, try. I mean, I'm saying that doesn't mean now all of you should buy a bucket of ice and put your hands into it. You see, this is the trouble with human beings. You tell them anything and you find them sitting with a bucket in their mouth. No, I'm just saying try. You see, because you must know I have no problems. Alright? You are all individuals, you are professors, you are research scholars. Keep your mind open and try and find out if it helps you. Every individual has individual problems. All these little problems you can solve yourself because you have the light. You have the light of vibration. The spirit is with you. So you are independent. I'll just give you guidelines. That doesn't mean that you every day have a vigil. No, horrible it is. But it has helped some people. May not be for everyone this place will not suit. But for left-sided people it's better, I've seen. With the right-sided people, it suits better that they don't eat so much, or their attention is more towards better things of life. Actually, I don't think right-sided people eat much. On the contrary, they are very fussy people about it. I mean, the whole thing is a mental thing. Mentally they will say, that's not good, I don't like it, what will I have it? You go to a party and the menu card will come and seriously they'll think 10 times what they will eat. I mean, what difference does it make what you eat? Does it? And they'll all discuss what will I have. And they'll eat 2 morsels and finish it up. They'll not relish even that. Because food cannot be enjoyed by mental activity. Simple thing as that. The tongue has to enjoy it. But all your energy has spent in your mental activity, so tongue is not there anymore to enjoy. So towards food also, anything, if your attention is too much, reduce it. And that's why I said eat less. Or if you fast, then you don't have to think about food. You think more about food than eat. And enjoy less, least of all. That's why it is said fasting. But when I say fasting, people start thinking, then what time should I eat, mother? Exactly. Is it all right at 8:30 or say 8 o'clock? As if there is a jail in Sahaja Yoga. Eat at any time you feel like. But if you are thinking about food, what's the use of fasting? Like in India we have fasting, you see women start planning about the fasting 10 days ahead. What will you have for your fasting? See, because in Indian life, people have made some concessions that if you eat this, this is not fasting. That is fasting. So then they'll plan out what they are going to eat. And they accumulate everything, all that is to be eaten because you are fasting. The whole attention is on fasting. And actually you are eating all the time. Like these have Ramadan, Muslims have. They are supposed to eat early in the morning. But they eat so much in those days that they never eat. Because they know they are not going to eat later on. So it's a funny situation. See, I am just giving you it as a research scholar to find out about yourself what type of life will suit you. Any other question?
Mother,
Yeah?
what was the end of the story about your grandmother?
Huh?
What was the end of the story about your grandmother?
About the story about?
What was the end of the story about your grandmother?
From?
The end of the story about your grandmother. You began.
Oh, that you want to hear again? It's a real grandmother story. So don't use too much intellectual things. It's a simple one. See, she said that those who believe in God just believe in His blessings and they have full right on God. She told a story that once a man had to go and see God. Now don't ask question how is it possible, but it's a story. And on his way he met a gentleman who was doing Hatha Yoga, Western style. Sometimes he was standing on his head and sometimes standing on one leg and then tying up his hair to some branches and dangling himself and shouting, "Oh God, oh God, oh God." This fellow got frightened, the way he was on. His bones were showing, all his bones, skeleton. He said, now what are you doing? He said, you see, I'm calling God, when will I see him? He said, all right, I'm going to see God now. I'll tell him, but till then, at least don't go to this extent, it's too much. And you settle down. I'll go and tell God that he must come and see you, otherwise this is going on too much. Then he went ahead and he saw one gentleman just on the side of the road, was sitting there. He said, hey, what are you doing here? He said, I'm doing nothing, God is doing everything, what am I to do? So he said, I'm going to see God, have you any message? No, you just tell him, you see, I have not eaten my food today and he is not bothered. Please tell him to send all my food properly to me and tell him that I need the food. So this fellow said, look at this arrogant fellow who ordered God like this. And he says God is doing everything and he's just relaxing and ordering God. So he went to God. And whatever work he had, he finished with God and all that, and then he looked a little perplexed. So God asked him, what's the problem? He said, I have 2 more jobs to be done. There is one fellow who met me on my way, and he was doing all these horrible things to his body. And he said that I hope I'll meet God with all this. Oh, I know him very well, God said. All right, go and tell him that you have to do some more of this. It's not sufficient. So he got a shock of his life. He said, look at this, God has no compassion at all. How does he say? So the other fellow he told about, the one who was just on the roadside. So he said, oh, he hasn't got his food. How can it be? God called all his managers, everyone. He said, how is it you have not given him food? Please. Arrange immediately. He was surprised at what sort of a thing it is, and this fellow is just ordering God and God is looking after this fellow. So God, as he knows about everything, he told him, all right, you are perplexed, all right, you go down and tell them one story. It's a tall story, but you tell them and see their reaction. So said the story was that you go and tell them that I saw God passing a camel through an eye of a needle. He said, all right, I will do that. To both of them you tell and see their reactions, and then you will know why I did it. So he went to the first fellow and told him that God has said, still you have to do more of these things. He'll come and meet you, but you have to do more. He said, yes. Then he will meet, so I will do more and more and more. Then he said, and what happened at God's place? He said, it's something miraculous. What was that? He said, the God passed a camel through an eye of a needle. He said, must be a very big needle. He said, no, just ordinary one. He said, how can that be? Now, you have been to God, so you are telling me stories. You can't get along with me like this. I understand this is all false. Just telling me stories. So, this gentleman said, all right, I'll go to the other gentleman. So he went to him. He was having his food. He said, oh, sit down, sit down. God has sent all food for me. I know, once I tell him, there's no need to tell him also. He really looks after me. But you wanted to have some message, so I said to him, but how much he has sent food for me? How can I eat all that? So this fellow was surprised, you see. So he said, what happened? You went to God, what did you see then? He said, I went and I saw a camel was passed through an eye of a needle, a very small needle, I tell you. And I saw it. He said, so what? What's so surprising? After all, he's God. What is there for him, for a camel? He can pass universes after universes. He's God Almighty. What is so miraculous for him? Then he realized, this is what it is. If you have faith God wants to establish it. Only your faith works it. But the faith in Sahaja Yoga, as you know, has to be the faith of the spirit, of the experience, is not blind faith. When your eyes are open, you have to have faith in God. But still after realization, so what? Vibrations are there, so what? What is it so great? Yes, so what? Then God says, all right, go ahead. It's such a tremendous thing that you get. But you don't have faith in yourself, how can you have faith in God? You don't respect yourself, how can you respect God? And this is exactly what happens to human beings when they deny Sahaja Yoga. As you know, there have been some miracles also in England which were stunning and people were surprised. But there's nothing to be surprised at. Oh, it's absolutely very common. And I wish Gavin could tell you about these few miracles that we are seeing, because some of you may not be knowing about it. So I would request him to tell all about this, what happened and what has happened in India. To me it is not at all miraculous, it is nothing. It's very simple. And this is being published in the newspapers and all that. I think it's better that Gavin should tell about this. Come here, loudly.
One retreat the newspapers happened in Bedford about just over a month ago. For the first time, Sri Mataji had a program in Bedford, and we learned the next day that a young boy had been going home on his motorbike and he had an accident. He fell off the bike, and he said that the lady stopped her car and got out and put her hands on where he was hurting. He felt better. So he went to the hospital because they asked him to do that, and they said, you're all right, you're discharged. And then he saw the picture of Mother in the newspaper, I think. And he told his own mother, he said, that's the lady who stopped the car. So, newspaper reporter heard about this. And he rang up the people who were organising the programme in Bedford. He said, is it true that this lady who came to Bedford stopped her car to heal this boy? And they said, what time was it? He said it was about 9:30 on that evening. He said, it's impossible. Mother was giving a programme in Bedford in the Guild House. But he's convinced it was so. And we know that it was so in a way also. Because we've heard other things. For instance, in India, it's even more remarkable.
Lovely.
There's a very highly placed attorney in Bombay who's a very great devotee of our Mother. Many of us have met him. He's come here, Mr. Pradhan. And one day when he was at a program of Mother's...
No, at home, with other people.
No,
sitting and talking.
at a meditation program. Just sitting, taking vibrations together. He realized that there was a case he was due to defend, which might come up in the courts, but it was a long way down the list, and he thought, well, it'll be all right. There are a lot of other cases, they'll be heard today, and mine will come up on Monday. So the next day he went to the court just to check, and they said, what do you mean? You were here yesterday. It's down in the court records. You defended the case brilliantly. The judge commented, what an excellent defence you made. You won the case. What are you talking about? He said, was I there? And then he thought, no, Mother was there.
A Petkar this
And Petkar is another one. In Pune there is a great Sahaja named Petkar. And he had a dream in the night that his brother fell in a big well in the village where they live, which is not, it's some way from Pune. And he was very
He had a habit of walking in the night, the brother.
So he was so anxious about this dream, he got up, he prayed to before Mother's picture that his brother should be all right. And the next morning he went home to his village and he met his father. And his father said, yes, it's true, he did fall in the well. And they were looking for him with torches. And suddenly your brother came up out of the water and was just sitting on the side of the bank. And his brother told him that this is what happened. In the lights he saw the hand with the bangles. And it came and it pulled him up out of the water. And at first he couldn't speak, he fainted. And then he was able to tell this to the people who'd come looking for him. And the brother wasn't a devotee of Mataji. But Petkar had done something. And Mother was there.
It's like a camel being passed through it. All right. So, any other question, please? Thank you very much. There are 1001 stories which so many Sahajogis can tell. How they were helped in every way. God looks after everyone. But especially the ones who are seeking, and the highest of all, the ones who are realized. If there is any question, please ask me. Did you hear it?
What can be done about the threat of nuclear war?
What is the?
What can be done about the threat of nuclear war?
What can be done about the threat of nuclear war?
If you believe in God, just don't think about it. Everything can be diffused, isn't it? It's only if God wants there will be war, otherwise there cannot. But there should be people for whom God should interfere. If all of them are horrible devils, it's better to have a war. Man proposes and God disposes. This is English proverb. We have forgotten all that. Nuclear war is the creation of human beings. Alright? And human beings are the creation of God. So the Creator is not going to allow these stupid children to work it out. But in case they are that stupid, all of them put together, let them have it. What's the use of also saving stupid people and donkeys? Only the people who are realized souls will be saved. Because nobody dies. They will be reborn again, those who are innocent. And those who are devils will go to hell. Alright? We have one of them born here, see, Markandeya is a born realized child. There are so many, you can find them here.
Well, how does one dissolve
How does one dissolve fear? Yeah. How does one dissolve fear?
Fear. Fear of what? Unconscious or conscious fear?
Fear of fear.
Death.
No, fear of fear. Fear, not of anything in particular.
Fear of what?
Of fear. The fear of fear.
What fear it is? I tell you.
Oh, fear without reason.
You see, the fear comes to you because not you are one with reality. You are not one with reality. Alright? So in Sahaja Yoga there are many ways by which you come in the center. You can have fear from your ego or from superego, from anywhere you can have. But if you are in the center, fear drops out. Gradually the fear drops out completely. Alright? It's the happening of awakening that takes you away from that fear. It's a happen. You don't have to do anything. What has to happen is that when you ascend, it will all drop automatically. We have so many ways and methods of keeping yourself in the center and of ascending. That's all. Not only fear, but so many things drop out. Habits, addictions, tempers, lots of things. All these barriers drop out because you get out of it. You are born again. Alright? That's how. So you are not to do anything about it. Just ascend. And there are so many ways and methods. I hope you will come to our programs and to our ashram here, and they will tell you how to do it. There are many, we had people who had horrible fears. They are all right. Or they are fearless. But they are not fearful.
What the advice regarding food?
Regarding what?
Food. What kind of food should we take?
In Sahaja Yoga, we do not pay much attention to food. Only thing I feel that so much attention has been paid to food is not a correct attitude. See, the spirit doesn't eat at all. It's a detached. Atma is beyond. Now when we try to say that if we eat this kind of food, Atma will be happy, that kind of Atma will be happy, is not true. For example, we say vegetarianism, which is a very common problem with people. You'll be amazed, all the false gurus are vegetarians, one by one. Mahesh Yogi, Rajneesh is a great vegetarian, he doesn't even eat garlic and onions. This Mahesh Yogi's disciples, if you show them a garlic, they'll jump 100 times. They are afraid of the garlic. Can you imagine? But I don't say that you eat meat. That's not the point. But those people, whatever they require, they should eat, but don't eat meats of animals which are bigger than you. Now what happens? How the evolution in the animals take place? Nobody has put attention to that. Supposing there are many chickens, you say, I am not going to give realization to chickens, am I? Or to bugs, am I going to give realization, or to mosquitoes? So our attention is on these, not on the higher level of life. When we think of food, that we must save chickens. Actually nothing dies. As Krishna himself has said, nothing dies. Alright? And that's how some people denied Krishna, because he had a samhara shakti, he used to kill. And killing is so important in evolution. Otherwise, if you don't kill these Rakshasas, are you going to adore them? What are you to do with them? They have to be killed, they have to be thrown out. In the evolutionary process also, so many things have to die out for the real thing to come up. Say this flower has to die to become the fruit, alright? And there is no hinsa in it. The word hinsa is so much misinterpreted that people are satisfied if they do not eat meat. It is not true. For some people it is essential they must eat meat. Now, as you know, Sahaja Yoga works on the power of Shakti. And the Devi not only killed Rakshasas, but she ate them. And she drank the blood of these Rakshasas, as you know, Raktavijas. So how can she be vegetarian? Just tell. What reason? Alright? Because we are conditioned that way, we think. But actually what happens in the evolutionary process? When a person, say, eats chicken, not person, we should say, a higher animal, eats a lower animal, then it passes through the circle and achieves a higher life. It's absolutely, this is how evolution takes place. Of course, we can give realization to human beings, so we need not worry about that. That's a different point. But if you eat chicken, you definitely give it a higher life. But not the animals which are bigger than smaller animals. If you eat, it's not going to be harmed by that, no doubt. But you may be harmed. For example, if you eat mosquitoes, you will be harmed. Now, in countries where there is not even any vegetable or anything, they have not seen green leaves, like Greenland. Now, the name is Greenland, they have never seen green color. Are they sinners that they can't live without eating meat? How can God be so partial? There are many countries where they cannot live without eating meat. So, there must be some reason, alright? So, reason it out. If you eat vegetables, alright. If you want to eat meat, it's alright. But again, for a Sahaja Yogi, what we decide is not on what you like, but what is good for you. For example, for Western people, it is better that they don't eat much meat now, because I think they and their fathers have eaten all that. Eat less. They should have more carbohydrates, while vegetarians should take more proteins. If they do not like meat, they should take to other proteins, because proteins are very important. If you do not take proteins in life, people suffer. In Sahaja Yoga, we find such people have trouble from left navi. I have seen in India many people who are strict vegetarians have a problem of left navi. So we told them, alright, you can eat proteins. There are so many proteins you can eat. If you don't like to eat meat from childhood, you have not eaten, you don't feel like eating, alright, forget it. Eat some. We have to be wise. We have to be open. We are not to be bound by our conditioning from childhood. This we must understand. That vegetarianism is not going to take you to God, neither non-vegetarianism. Because the spirit is neither a vegetarian nor a non-vegetarian. It is a detached thing, it's above food. But whatever you need for your body is important. If you need protein, eat protein. If you don't eat protein, don't eat protein. But then eat something which you need. So it is not that one has to understand it in a way that we understand as a chicken and vegetables, but we must understand in the way a doctor understands the protein and carbohydrates. Alright? Whatever you like, you can eat. There's no, in Sahaja Yoga there's no such a compulsion. So many saints used to eat meat. So many saints. Guru Nanaka, Kabira, Muhammad Sahib, Christ, Rama himself, Krishna himself. All of them ate meat. Even Buddha ate meat. The proof is that at the end of his life, he went to one of his disciples, who was a hunter. And he told him, I'm very hungry, give me something to eat. So he said, sir, I have nothing else but a wild boar which I have killed very recently and it is not yet fully cooked. So he said, all right, doesn't matter, I'll have it. And he ate it and he died because of that half-cooked wild boar. And he died with that. So now Buddhists think that we should not eat meat. It's not so. Because he ate something that was half-cooked. That means he did eat, isn't it? Even Jains know that it's only Neminath who got a kind of a feeling against meat eating. That was Neminath was at the time of his contemporary of Sri Krishna. When his marriage was celebrated, he found many birds were killed and he felt terrible about it. And he didn't want to eat any meat. It was all right. It's all right. If you don't feel like, don't eat it. But then a cult started. But that means till Neminath, means Jainis are ancient people. Till Neminath, they were eating meat. Is a fact. So to get attached to some idea is not the way you are doing it. If you don't want to eat, just don't eat. And if somebody has to eat it because of health purposes or because of the need, there's nothing wrong. Everybody has a different need. Every individual has a different need. If I personally take just vegetarian food, I won't exist, I can tell you. Because I have such a great capacity to have purges. If I meet somebody, shake hands with somebody, he has lots of boots, you see. Then I just clear him out by purging. And if I take just to say carbohydrates, I don't know what will happen to me. But doesn't mean that I should be a meat eater, but I have to have proteins. That's the point. It's no question of meat or anything, but it is a question of eating proteins or carbohydrates. We have to be wise about it. And all such cults, you see, that you eat this, you eat that, is not. There is no cult in surgery. Every individual has a different personality, but the common thing is one, and that is the spirit. But, for example, drinking, we abhor. But after realization, before that I don't talk of drinking. Because it goes against your chetana, against your awareness. So one has to look after the awareness. So much time has been wasted in people in deciding what to eat, what not to eat. What have they achieved? Nothing. Sometimes I see vegetarians can be horrid people. Absolutely horrid. We have a community in India called Marwadis. They are bloodsuckers, you see. They are vegetarians. Not all. We have some in Sahaja Yoga also. Very few. They are extremely money-minded people. You know that. So this kind of thing, to believe that such food will make us great will be false. So you don't decide on that. You decide on proteins and carbohydrates. Whatever good for your health, you should. Those who eat too much of vegetarian food, are liable to certain type of diseases, and those who eat too much of non-veg are liable to some. Those who eat vegetarian food can get leukoderma very easily, can get leukemia very easily. Certain types of cancers they can get very easily. Those who are non-vegetarians can get another kind of diseases. There are numerous diseases they can get. So we have to have a balance. That when we eat vegetarian food also, we must see that we eat sufficient amount of proteins. Because body has to be all right. Healthy body is the temple of God. And to temple of God, you have to keep it healthy and happy. That's the attitude. But it's not so important. Because once you get into Sahaja Yoga, as it is, automatically, doctors will drop to nil. Automatically. So we have to take a wise attitude towards ourselves. Not to torture ourselves because of certain condition. Because we have been taught something from childhood, we should not accept it. But see for ourselves. I have seen that people who had tremendous stigmas about vegetarian food, when they took to, say, protein food, they improved very much in vibrations. They did. Protein food is very important for certain people. And for certain people, carbohydrates. Liverish people should take to carbohydrates. It is absolutely an open thing for us to understand. But whatever goes against our awareness, because in our own awareness we have to achieve our spirit. We drop out that also very easily. I don't have to say that don't drink, don't smoke, you just drop out.